Okay. Hey everyone, I'm Ella Rosa. I am a singer-songwriter from LA, but I live in LA, sorry, but I'm from England.
So we're here to talk a bit about your music career and everything and discuss the new music you have out. So let's start off with, you discovered your passion for R&B while studying opera in New York. How did you find that calling?
I found that when I was very, very young, so I really wanted to continue my music career, and I really didn't have my parents basically really, really wanted me to do school, and I didn't know I wasn't very well versed in, production or engineering and whatnot. So um I kind of went into the opera realm of things because I was in New York and I was like already auditioning for opera schools anyway. So it was an easy avenue for me.
Okay, so your parents basically wanted you in that direction a lot, eh?
Yes.
Um, Englishman in New York is a testimonial of feeling out of place, like an alien. How much did this relate to your experience of moving to New York, and what were the parts of it you enjoyed the most?
It's a good question. I've actually never been asked that. I would say it is really a testament to like how I felt when I moved to New York. Because when I first moved, that was randomly the time coincided with me moving to New York when I started discovering Sting's catalog, and um, I guess I realized that like it isn't unusual to move to a new place. I was young and I was having a lot of transitions as a woman and stuff like that. So it was definitely strange, but it was and a culture shock to say the least, but it put it into words and made it kind of beautiful for me, which was nice.
That is nice. Now, how does it feel to take a song like that and give it your own spin and make it really feel like it's yours?
It was really fun. The producer that I worked with is hugely talented. And I kind of wanted to do that song justice and bring it back to life. So it was a nice experience because it was very reminiscent.
Does Sting inspire you at all? And how did it make you feel when you first heard the original song?
Well, I love the Police, and then I started like getting really into the Police, and then I realized that Sting was the one who writes most of the music. So um, I really love the style of like the syncopation of the Police, and Sting brings that into his music a lot, and it sounds like he brings a lot of elements of reggae into his music, which I really respect and I love.
hmm Now, talking about New York, what feels more at home to you, New York or England?
Obviously England to me, but England to me in the sense that like that's my childhood. That's before I got, tainted. Um, but when I moved to New York, it was definitely I miss both just as much, but England is definitely still my home.
Yeah, I guess they have a different feel on both sides of it. So
Yeah.
now the music video for the song gives a really early 90s, 2000s home movie inspired vibe. Is that era special to you? And how does that fit into the time period of this?
I guess when I was younger and I was looking up to idols like Britney Spears and like SWV, they had kind of similar music videos. So that was definitely something that I tried to add in my visuals. I wanted it to be less of a concept video and more of a aesthetic video.
Yeah, give it that nice feel of that. Understand.
Yeah.
Okay, so your promotional photos for the song, along with every other photo on your Instagram, look amazing. Do you have any experience with modeling, and how has that influenced or contributed to your promotional photos?
I've definitely done some like very amateur level modeling, but no, I try to go for less of like pretty and more of interesting looking.
Okay.
So that sometimes I think that's like, well, modeling, I guess you can do that with like high fashion, but um, I guess me growing up, the modeling scene wasn't like about being different, and now it is. So who knows? Might go
I
back
mean,
into
I'm not much of a model myself, so I wouldn't know too much of that stuff.
it.
These questions were put together by one of my female writers, so I'm just
Cool.
going off of what some of the things she pointed out.
They're good questions. I like them.
hmm So a huge inspiration for you growing up was your grandparents who raised you on both classical and orchestral music. That joined with your opera and R&B experience makes you quite versed in music theory. What do you tell us about that a bit more?
Yeah, that's a good question. So like I guess when I was younger, my grandparents, especially my granddad, was really, really into like Wagner. And Wagner's very technical. So he would always like teach me just the very like basics of it. So it was introduced to me at a very, very young age. And then once I started taking voice lessons when I was like 6, that was introduced again. And like theory has just been kind of like bashed into my head since I was a little kid. But I think this is said for most musicians that no matter how long you do theory, like sometimes it escapes your mind, and it's one of those skills that you kind of have to polish every day.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, practice makes perfect for everything, for sure.
Yeah.
In the R&B industry now, do you see anything missing in there or something that you want to try to fill?
I think I would love to hear more. I think there was a period, and it's coming out of this. There was a period where everything was very, very polished, and I think the essence of R&B is about being like singing from the soul and talking about things that like aren't necessarily like very, very clean cut. So I'd like to see that come back, I guess, in the R&B realm. And in terms of like production and stuff, I would like to hear more like raw vocals.
Do you have like an example that you can think of?
Yeah, oh no, I don't want to like bash anyone.
Well, it's not bashing, but it's something that an example of something you might want to see come back.
Yeah, I like Erica Badu is like a really good
Okay.
example. It would be like jazz, R&B, neo soul maybe, but I think a really good example of someone who does this really well is like the balance between polished and still like rough around the edges to show like some natural elements and like some emotion is Nao. Um, she's really, really good at that.
Nice. I'll have to take a look and see.
Yeah, she's dope.
What music are you into right now? Like any groups that are like on your playlist profoundly?
Yeah. Well, Nao is one.
Hmm.
I'm weirdly like getting on a T-Pain wave at the moment. I do not know why. Well, his new song just came out, but I've just been like on his case at the moment. Georgia Smith just came out with some new music, which I'm obsessed with.
Hmm.
And I've been listening to a lot of like bebop. I have a show coming up, and I'm doing like a bebop jazz song. Betty Carter, I'm doing, and I have to learn that song. It's really hard, but so I'm getting like heavily into bebop again, which is interesting.
Nice. I actually like T-Pain a lot myself. He's one of those guys that has done so much that people don't know about, and you just learn something new all the time from him.
It's crazy, and his voice is incredible. He's a great musician. He can make a hit in like 2 seconds, and
Hmm.
he funny because he I like the fact that he like not makes fun of himself, but he does like he doesn't need to show. It's funny because when I go into studio sessions, I'm like, oh, I need to show that I can sing and I need to show that I'm a good musician and da 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 da. And it's like he is the one guy who's just like, I don't need to do that. I can people will learn that I'm a good musician and they don't need to I don't need to show it off instantly, you know?
Hmm. Yeah, I mean, you have the confidence in yourself. You just go in there and do what you do.
Yeah, exactly.
So your music really started taking off last year, right around when the pandemic began. What do you think starting a music career around COVID has ultimately posed a threat or a benefit to your career?
Um, yeah, I definitely think not the COVID. I think COVID definitely gave me a second to like sit back and realize like what I actually want to do and what my goals are. And instead of, I guess the fact that I didn't have to, I was rehearsing every week, and that was taking up a lot of my time, like doing arrangements and like that really is kind of the reason why I'm in music in the first place is to perform. But the fact that I couldn't do that anymore for a second put my focus and emphasis more on like the digital side of things and like how to actually cater to fans and like figure out what they wanted to hear. And also my sound, it just kind of like instead of just sticking with one catalog of music for the live performance element of side of things, I was like, okay, now I need to actually start figuring out like what I want my sound to be, and like trying to make like a recipe of what that was.
I think I just got a beep on my computer here.
Oh, that was me. My bad.
Oh, that was you? Okay, I got one earlier and I wasn't sure what it was either. So,
Oh,
well, so going on with the catering to online, what's your thought
no.
on like virtual live performances and that now?
I mean, I did one last week and I've been doing them ever since the pandemic hit. And I think it's a great alternative. Definitely not the same feeling as, doing it in real life. But
Hmm.
if you don't have any other option, it does actually it fulfills you in that sense. The fact that you can like rehearse weeks after, you get a bit nervous before you go on, and like at least you can talk to people in the comments. Um, it's a good alternative, but definitely I feel a lot of musicians around me are getting kind of itchy for the real thing.
Yeah, I think as a whole, everyone is like typically I'm actually a concert photographer, so I don't do this
Cool.
stuff very often.
Yeah.
And I haven't been able to go shoot a concert this whole time either, and that's my bread and butter. I've got some cameras sitting here collecting dust, just waiting for that. So,
Yeah, and that's like brutal because that's the beautiful thing about shows is that there's not just like it's not just about the performers, it's about the photographers, it's about
mhm.
like the security, it's about the runners, like the tour managers, like everyone gets involved, and it's that's why I love performing because it isn't just about the show, it's about like you have a little family for a second, and you're doing this amazing thing, and everyone's really revved up, and I think that was one of the saddest things for me when performance stopped. I was like, damn, I'm not gonna have that family anymore.
Mhm. Is there one place that you did perform or you felt that you've performed before where you felt really like that was such an amazing show?
Yeah, I played so before I moved to LA, I played at Camden Assembly in London, which was that was a funny one because it was a week before I moved and I got literally everyone to come out. It sold out. It was incredible. And then when I the month 6 months after I moved to LA, I played at the Peppermint Club and that was really, really fun. Like that we sold that out too. Like that was super, super interesting. And it was kind of the first show with my band, like official show, I guess that we did all together. And I've been playing with them ever since that show because it was just so fun.
That's good. Is there one place you have like a dream of playing or with that totem pole thing that you want to hit?
Yeah, I mean, there are a few, but in LA, I guess Hollywood Bowl, obviously. In England, the O2 Arena. Um, and then New York, I played Webster Hall in New York, but I would want to play the main stage in Webster Hall.
Okay. Yeah, those are pretty good milestones to aim for sure.
Yeah.
So looking forward to hopefully playing shows again live one of these days. I mean, everyone's getting their COVID shots now. What can we expect from a live show from you now that you've developed a little bit more in the way of your production and sound and everything?
I mean, now I've been focusing a lot more on like the actual visual aspect of a show and like the lighting and stuff like that. Instead of just listening to music, I want people to like have an experience. Um, that and then also, yeah, the catalog that I'm working with, I want to do like some more mashups and stuff like that. So, and I'm trying to bring in the element of like jazz and neo soul. So using like upright bass and more instruments that are like true to jazz is definitely something that people can expect. But we're still in rehearsals now, so it's like getting stuff sorted soon.
I mean, more concerts are starting to pop up, so hopefully we'll start to see live things happen soon.
Exactly.
Is there any advice that you've been given as a musician that you've really grasped onto and held tight? And counter to that, is there anything that you've given that's just or that's been given to that just really sucked?
I think the one advice that I really don't like is like when people say, like focus on the numbers, focus on the engagement, da da da. And I think like you can get so in your head on that, especially as a musician, when all eyes are like on you and it's only judgment coming your way, basically. Um, I think focusing on numbers and clout and all that shit is not. I think focusing on relationships and creating like a family around you is the most important to like stay sane. Um, and I guess that like counter to that, that would be like my best advice: create a family that you can trust around you who actually have, you know, good taste and you trust. But getting less advice, I think, is better than a shit ton of advice that you're not really, getting 7 different opinions is just gonna screw your head up, I think.
Yeah, too many people cloud things pretty quickly.
Yeah.
We actually did a email interview with the drummer from the Tea Party recently, and one of the things he said was Robert Plant said, don't pay any attention to numbers or anything like that. Just do what you do.
Exactly. Like focusing on a craft, I think it is frustrating because there's so many people around you who are like humble bragging and blah blah blah, but you just got to stick with it, and it will. I've seen the results, so I'm gonna stick to that route.
Yeah, do what works. You know,
Yeah.
why break it if it's not broken?
Yeah.
Now, the Englishman in New York is the complete opposite of Selfish, which is one of your previous releases. One video depicts a girl in the city, the other one deep in the country. Are you country girl or city girl?
Definitely sissy girl.
City girl, yeah. Is there
For
anything
sure,
like
definitely.
love the shopping and all the people around and everything?
It's less about the shopping, it's more about like the availability. I don't like having to travel that far, so being able to, have things at your doorstep. I also just love like walking to a cafe or like walking around and maybe bumping into someone that you know. Like I love that. I do love the countryside, but it does drive me crazy.
Yeah, I mean, I was kind of brought up country myself, but city,
Yes,
it's just so much easier sometimes to do things.
exactly. Yeah.
Now, I guess the last question I have will be, since we're in a COVID time right now, is there any place that you might want to give a shout out to, or give kudos to local establishments or anything being affected?
Yeah, I guess like the show play like the venues in LA, hopefully they can gain some traction again and get some people in the doors. Also excited for people in England who like are going back out again. That's really dope. But yeah, just in general, this too shall pass, and it's passing, so we'll
Mm-hmm.
get that.
Yeah, we're based up here in Canada, so we're starting to get a little caught up to the US and how many shots and things they're getting out there, and
Mhm.
we'll get there. It's slow and steady, but it happens.
Yeah, I mean it's coming along here. I just went to the gym and like I wasn't wearing a mask, nor was anyone, because like I'm vaccinated. So it's it's coming.
Mm-hmm. Is there anything you want to shout out about stuff that's ongoing with you right now? You just dropped in music, and you have anything else coming up you want to shout out?
Yeah, so I have a song coming out in July with a music video too, that has like a really exciting feature that I'm excited to, give to everyone. And shows are definitely coming. July is probably like late July is probably going to be the date.
Okay, that works.
Mhm.
And hopefully we'll get to see you at some point. I've got some photographers all across Canada, so if you ever get up this way, I'm sure we'll get to catch you in a show at some point.
Exactly, I would love that. That'd be fire.
I guess that's pretty much it for me. I mean, we didn't have a whole long thing planned here, so I
Amazing.
appreciate the time.
Of course. Thank you so much. That was like I like those questions. They were good. Thanks, dude. I
Or
appreciate it.
no problem. You have yourself a wonderful rest of your day.
Thanks. I'll speak to you soon.
Okay,
Bye.
bye.